It's only 7 months till my birthday, so I've treated myself to a nice new pair of trainers. I'm an overpronator, which means I run like a duck, so the trainers that I'm reviewing today are suitable for people who perhaps need a little bit more stability to support them in their run. I think Nike has actually seriously upped their game in recent years. It's probably fair to say that they're leading the way when it comes to running shoes now. Historically, I was always a big user of Asics and Hoka, but in recent times my go-to shoe has actually been the Nike React Miler. It's a really great, durable, high mileage trainer. It's tremendously comfortable. It's got loads of support for you on your long runs. So I've got these two pairs that I've been rotating really. They are getting pretty old now, so it's time to upgrade. However, the problem is that the React Miler was discontinued in 2022, so the last version was the React Miler 3. So I'm looking now for something that maybe I could consider as a suitable replacement or successor to the React Miler. So a really good day-to-day stability shoe. So step forward, the Nike Air Zoom Structure. This is the model 25. This is a stability shoe. It's good for overpronation control, great for stability. Looking at the material, it's engineered mesh on here with a focus on structured support and a nice secure fit for these, especially around the midfoot. 10mm drop, so again, you know, kind of pretty average really. Really high cushioning in these. It's a nice plush and supportive shoe. Now the midsole foam for this, Nike uses Cushlon 3.0, which they use in some of their running and actually their basketball shoes as well. So it is softer than previous versions, and it has a one single forefoot Zoom Air unit in there. So the design of the Air Zoom Structure 25 is to have that kind of ride feel. It's nice and plush, stable, supportive. Slightly firmer medial side, so the inner side of the shoe to help guide overpronators like me. In terms of the support, it's designed for runners who need mild to moderate stability. It provides a guided transition, so it does that, but without any of that aggressive posting that we've seen in some other shoes recently. The heel design has got slightly more padding in there and structure to help reduce heel slippage and provide that kind of locked-in feel at the back of your foot. In terms of the breathability of this shoe, well, I'd say moderate. So it has more structured overlays in here, and that may reduce the airflow compared to some other shoes. So if that's a factor, that's something to bear in mind. Looking at the outsole of these shoes, you've got rubber coverage for the full length. Real focus on durability with these, which is good for people who have a lot of high mileage. If you want to get a lot out of these shoes, the grip is designed for roads and light paths, so that should give plenty of good grip. And like I say, they're designed to be a durable shoe actually, so built to last with high mileage, denser rubber in the wear zones on the bottom of this shoe. Now, if you look at the price, it retails at about 120 quid, so £119.99. I mean, I think shoes are overpriced. I think running shoes are really chronically overpriced. However, in context, it's actually a lot cheaper than many of its competitors, would you believe? So other shoes that you might consider if you're looking at this shoe, some of Nike's own shoes, like the Infinity React at 160 quid. Or maybe the Vomero, which retails at 145. Or if you really want a lot of cushioning, then you've got the Nike Invincible, but I mean they come in at an eye-watering £175. You could consider the Pegasus, obviously a very famous and well-used shoe. It does have a lot of the same or similar design features to the Structure 25 and a good balance of cushioning and support, although it's worth mentioning that it's not actually intended as a support shoe. And then from other brands, if you look at the Saucony Tempus, 170 quid, or the Asics Cayano, 180 quid. Another possibility would be the Brooks Adrenaline, which is a very popular shoe, and they're about 150 quid. So I do think that shoes are costing a lot of money these days, but in relative terms, this one is a pretty good price. And to be honest, you can probably pick it up for less than the £120 retail. It's very, very rare that I pay full price for a pair of shoes. So sometimes it's just a case of being patient waiting for the shoe to be available somewhere at a good price, and sometimes if I see that I might get a couple of pairs actually while they're at a good price. So this shoe is it's got this tag saying that it's made with at least 20% recycled content, which is good. I mean, it's a start, so that's fairly reassuring. I'd like to see more of that in the future from our shoe manufacturers. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, you might have a comment about this particular colour. It's a unisex shoe. Quite like that colour actually. Obviously, you've got a choice when you look at these. And thinking about how you would use this shoe, well, okay, it's your daily trainer, so for your daily miles, it's going to do the job for you, I'm sure. Good for your long runs due to the form support that this will provide for you. It's probably not a speed shoe. It's going to be too heavy, probably too stable for that, so it's not designed as a speed shoe in any case, but it's a good general all-round shoe. Good for beginners. If you're looking for a shoe, if you're just getting into running, you could certainly do a lot worse than this, especially if you might be an overpronator. So it is worth going to your local running shop and getting them to have a look at the way you run, to analyse your gait and see if you think you might be an overpronator yourself. So next I'm going to take these out on the road. I'm going to go for a few runs in these, see what I think. Are they going to be an adequate replacement for my good old faithful React milers, which I absolutely love, but not so available these days. So we'll see how we go with these.
Okay guys, so I've been using the Zoom Structure 25 for a few runs now. It's definitely a very snug fit, very narrow shoe, which will suit some people. I found that I've really noticed it on my feet, which is not really something that I want. It's a very, very supportive shoe, so if that's what you're looking for, then you know it might be worth giving it a try. But overall, I just haven't really enjoyed running as much in this shoe. I was looking for something as a replacement or a successor to the React Miler, which I love, but I don't really feel that this shoe is that shoe. It's firmer, it's more rigid. Again, you know, some people may like that. It has this Cushlon 3.0 foam throughout. Actually, where I've noticed that is more in the heel. So perhaps if you tend to strike with your heel a bit is where you'll notice that response a bit more. So I do enjoy Nike shoes generally. I think really up their game a lot in recent years. I'm not sure about for stability. I'd be tempted to look back at Asics for stability shoes. The GT2000, it's been going for years. I wore those for years actually. And the Kayano as well. Could be alternatives to consider. So it's a good dependable stability shoe if that's what you're looking for. You'll get a lot of miles out of this, so in terms of economy and finance, it could be worth considering. But ultimately I want to enjoy my runs, and I'm finding that this doesn't feel like the React Miler in terms of the fun that I have. The rigidity just kind of takes some of that enjoyment out of it for me. So it really ultimately depends on what you want in a shoe. So if you want that sort of peace of mind in terms of the stability, if you're quite a strong overpronator, this is a very stable and very rigid shoe, so it will give you that confidence. But if you really want that fun ride, that big bounce, I'm just not feeling it in this shoe at all. I'll keep using it, you know, it's a good shoe. It's a very typical Nike shoe really. I don't have any major issues with it. I think the snug fit, especially around the toes, but throughout the shoe, just means that I notice it a lot more on my feet, which really, I don't really want to notice my shoes when I'm out running. I don't want my attention drawn to them. So yeah, it's a good shoe for some people, not for everyone. It's not a shoe that I'm going to be using for a lot of runs, for my fast runs, my long runs. Probably use it for some nice easy jogs.
So to conclude, it's good if you're an overpronator, or if you're just someone who wants more of a supportive feel perhaps in your shoe, or if you just want a daily kind of stable cushioned trainer running shoe for your kind of daily miles really. You can certainly do a lot worse than these, and especially when you consider that compared to a lot of the competitors, it's actually relatively well priced. What do you think? Have you tried these? Do you think you might give them a try? Please make a comment below. Is there a shoe that you think is a suitable competitor to this? What are your thoughts? Let us know. Alright guys, take care and enjoy your running.